Our Earth is in danger. We use millions of watts of power every day. We are running out of options to power our world. But there is a way to save our world. It is an efficient way of producing amazing sums of energy. And this way is nuclear power. We'll explore this exciting technology on Into the Reactor. We are in the middle of what will soon be an energy crisis. But there is an energy that's been around since the 1940s, but yet it's still not reached its full potential. We talked to J.J. Moore, an expert at CMS who studies how nuclear power works.
Nuclear power works relatively the same way fossil fuels do. All of them produce heat to boil water and create steam that spins a turbine. But nuclear power differs because the heat is produced by splitting atoms. Small particles are fired at uranium atoms, causing them to split and producing heat. The water then turns to steam, spinning a turbine, connected to an electromagnet, creating electricity. The steam then condenses into water and is reused.
Like JJ said, the part that creates the electricity is the steam that powers the turbine. This is a video on how nuclear power plants work.
We've discovered how a nuclear reactor works, but is it sustainable, and how can we improve it? We're talking to expert Cole Pixley about this question. Cole, how is nuclear power sustainable on a community level?
Well, a city the size of Chicago needs approximately 1 megawatt of power to run. A single nuclear reactor creates up to 1,000 megawatts. So, therefore, one nuclear reactor can power 1,000 cities the size of Chicago. Although it would be better if we could reduce the cost, because it has risen over the years.
I see. So how is it sustainable on a national level?
To start, nuclear energy has a smaller effect on the Earth than other energy or fuels. It would be better if we could reduce the amount of uranium needed for each reactor to run, as there's a limited amount of uranium in the world. With less uranium, the U.S. could make more nuclear reactors in the future, increasing the amount of time we could use it.
Interesting. Now our last question, how is it sustainable on an international level?
Well, it takes about 154 million pounds of natural uranium to power one nuclear reactor each year, causing 67 billion pounds of natural uranium used in 1 year worldwide, which is quite a bit, so it would be better if we could reduce that amount.
Well then, it sounds like nuclear reactors are the power of the future.
Yes, I certainly believe they are.
Well, thank you for your time.
Anytime.
Although nuclear power is a great resource, it has its downfalls. As we have seen, the main problem with the reactors are nuclear meltdowns. Just like the Fukushima nuclear meltdown, the following video is about the nuclear meltdown after Japan's earthquake.
This is what a nuclear reactor looks like. The uranium inside the fuel rod inside the reactor undergoes nuclear fission. The rods emit heat, generating energy. Usually water cools them to maintain their temperature at 270 degrees Celsius. But if the cooling fails, the temperature could rise to over 1200 degrees. This temperature is hot enough to melt the fuel rods. When the earthquake hit, the first safety system to prevent a meltdown was activated. Control rods rose into the reactor to stop the nuclear fission. As planned, the reactor stopped operating. But the fuel rods were still hot. Water should have been circulated to cool them down. However, this didn't happen because of a power outage right after the quake. So the second safety system turned on. The emergency diesel power generator began spraying the rods with coolant. But an hour later, something unexpected happened. Without warning, the emergency generator stopped. Around this time, the tsunami, possibly as high as 10 meters, hit the power plant. Experts think this is what caused the generator to fail. Now, the third safety system started operating. It converts steam traveling through the pipes into water. It cools the rods, but the water level went down and the temperature continued to rise. All three safety measures had failed. Professor Akira Omoto of the Japan Atomic Energy Commission was involved in construction of the Fukushima plants. He thinks the cooling water somehow leaked from the reactor.
The reactor's coolants must have leaked somewhere in the building. We thought we had taken adequate precautions for a tsunami, but what happened was beyond our expectations.
To forcibly cool the reactor, seawater had to be pumped into it and the containment vessel. Similar failures and a huge explosion also hit another reactor at the plant on Monday. Once again, nature has challenged man's best efforts.
How many nuclear plants are there, and where are they? Well, in the United States, there are 104, as you can see on the map here. In the world, there are 434, and you can see them also here. The next map here is the uranium deposits in the United States. There are 20. The final map shown here includes the number of uranium deposits in the United States, plus the deposits in the world, making a grand total of 53,663.
As we have found, nuclear power is the power of the future, and if we intend to live long as a human race, we are going to need to find the best type of energy to use. Thanks for watching Pixley's Productions Into the Reactor.